One.
My brother started hanging around with the wrong crowd. One day my partner got a real bad feeling in his gut. He had to block the front door. Nothing I could say would stop him or convince him how crazy he was being. The door just had to be blocked. The desk got moved in front of the door, and I was pissed that I had to use the back door to get in and out of the house. 2 days later, my brother's friends came looking for him. He owed them some cash. Because my partner had blocked the front door, I had to open the window to speak with them. I'm eternally grateful to my partner for moving the desk and blocking the door. My brother's friends came at me with a knife, but because I was through the window, they missed me and got the knife caught in the curtain netting instead of my guts. The next day, my partner said that the feeling in his gut was gone now, and so he moved the desk back and unblocked the door.
Two.
I was born premature and with pneumonia. Right after birth, I was kept in the hospital for a week or so in isolation while I healed. My mother rarely left my side and spent most of her time at the hospital. Finally, one night, my grandparents convinced her to go back to their home to get some sleep, and she reluctantly agreed. She was so exhausted that she went straight to sleep. My grandpa woke her up in the middle of the night, telling her that she had to go back to the hospital because he had a bad feeling. My mom, being as exhausted as she was, put up a little bit of a fight to stay in bed, but her father urged her to go to the hospital. Upon arrival, my mom walked into my room to see that I was laying on my back, bright purple, choking on my own vomit. She yelled for a nurse right away, and they were able to clear away the vomit so I could breathe. After that, my mom refused to leave the hospital until I came home with her. I will never know what woke up my grandpa in the middle of the night, but it saved my life.
Three.
My friends and I were about to go on a country cruise. One night, as we went the same route as usual, we were at the last stoplight until the start of our route. The light turned green, but we sat there for about 3 seconds just looking at the green light. I think we were all in some sort of trance out of nowhere during those seconds. Anyway, as all three of us sat there staring straight ahead at the green light for no reason, all of a sudden, an 18-wheeler that none of us saw barrels right through the red light, passing only inches from the front of the Jeep we were in. He was going 55 plus miles per hour, and he had no intentions of stopping. We would have all died had we gone through the light when it turned green.
Four.
I was heading home with my dad, and we stopped at a drive-thru. I start feeling more and more anxious for no reason, to the point where it makes me lightheaded and sick to my stomach. We have to wait a little bit ahead because they gave us the wrong order. So I sit there feeling horrible, and it suddenly comes to me an urge to call my brother. He was trying to call us. He was in a car accident. No one died. Some got seriously bruised, and he was only shaken. I told him to shut up and get as far away from the car as possible. He didn't understand but followed through, trying to call some of his buddies, and I could hear them calling him a wuss, him giving up and getting far, and then a loud noise with people shouting. After the whole shit was over, he told me what happened. His drunk friend tried to impress some girls in a car, hit the gas, drifted, and hit the bottom of the car and some rocks, completely fucking with the engine. They stood near the car, the driver still inside, trying to turn the engine back on. The hood burst into flames and the car started to burn fast, and the driver managed to get away but got severely hurt. Some of the guys and girls who stood around were hurt and burned as well, but not as bad as the driver. My brother was the only one with light bruises from the whole thing. He told me that when I ordered him to get away from the car and he was in front of it, inches from the hood. I never experienced anything like this before or after, just this one time. It's just a weird memory. I don't remember what I was thinking. I remember it was like watching a movie and seeing myself and everything from an outside angle.
5.
I was a student nurse, and I was caring for a man who had been admitted to the hospital with diabetic ketoacidosis. He had recently had an above-knee amputation, and he was pissed about it. He refused to let anyone help bathe him and routinely threw stuff at anyone who walked into his room. Over the course of several days, I got to know him and became friendly with him. I was just starting out as a student nurse, so he was my only patient to care for at the time, so I had a lot of time to spend with him. I learned all about his family and his life. He eventually agreed to let me assist him with a bed bath. The following week, he was still in the hospital, but I was assigned to a new patient. But the floor nurses asked me to still help with him because I was the only one who would let near him. Anyway, this went on for about 2 weeks. One night, I woke up and saw him standing in the doorway of my bedroom. He was no longer an amputee. He just kind of stood there for a minute and then disappeared. I thought I was still half dreaming, and I rolled over and I looked at the clock, and I saw that it was 3:58 a.m. I remember thinking, awesome, I still have another hour to sleep. Later, arriving at the hospital to learn that he had passed away in the middle of the night. I looked at his chart, and he was declared dead at 3:58 a.m. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the show. If you have a story to share, send us an email, like us on Facebook, share, like, and subscribe.